guys, it's Sarah, and today we're going to talk about my November wrap-up. It's going to be a short one, guys, because I only read 4 books. I only read 4. I have been adjusting to a new season. If you've seen my life update, you'll know that I just started working outside the home again, and so it's been an adjustment. I'm very, very, very much enjoying my job. So I'm not complaining about that at all, but it has taken a toll on my schedule and just my normal routines that I'm used to. So it's been an adjustment period. I'm getting a little bit more into the swing of things now, but the entire month of November was just kind of like everything was up in the air and I was either running around doing things or I was exhausted. So either one. So not a whole lot of time was spent reading, and the time that I could sneak in, I wasn't able to sit down and concentrate for very long just because I was tired. But I'm kind of starting to get a little bit of my groove back, so I'm very happy about that. But I do have 4 books to talk to you about here, and 3 of them I'm going to talk in detail about. One of them is a 5-star prediction, so I'll show you what I read, but I'm not going to tell you my thoughts yet. You're going to have to wait till the end of December for that. But yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and just talk about the 5-star prediction first. That is The Gown by Jennifer Robson. Now, this one checked off a couple boxes for me. So I buddy read this with Linda. So we read this one together. And this was also not only a 5-star prediction for this round, but this was also on my fall TBR. And I pulled a prompt for this one, and that was an author A to Z, where I did a random letter generator and then picked a book whose author had the same last name as the letter that I picked, which was R. So I picked Robson. And this was also sent to me from Lindsay from one of our Christmas book exchanges from a while ago. So kind of like check, 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 check. So I did read it. I'm not going to give you my thoughts yet, again, because 5-star prediction. So you'll hear about it later, but I did complete it. Okay, another one that was on my fall TBR, and I went ahead and picked this one up, is A Far Wilder Magic by Allison Saft. And this one I listened to on audiobook, and it is narrated by Allison Valinsky. She was fantastic. She did some really great accents in here. And this was, again, on my fall TBR too. And you guys, I loved this. This was such a surprise on how much I loved it. So this one came out earlier this year, and you guys, I loved it. It is a young adult fantasy book. So we are following this young girl. Her mother is a very famous alchemist, but her mother is like all over the place. So basically her profession is her passion, and she just will do anything for it, including leaving her daughter behind to pursue her own things. So this girl is left on her own a lot, and she is kind of stuck trying to make a living for herself. And she ends up coming into contact with this boy who shows up at her house looking for her mother because he wants to be an apprentice to her, because he himself wants to be an alchemist. And he's kind of running away from a little bit of trouble that he caused for himself as well. So he's kind of looking for an out and is thinking that this apprenticeship is going to help him in his life. So these two reluctantly decide, okay, we can handle this. And they end up actually really needing each other, because there is something that happens in their village every so often where a magical being will show up, and it becomes like a competition for a team of people to take down this beast. And whoever does gets, money and celebrity and all that kind of stuff. And they could definitely both use the money. So they're in it for their own reasons, basically, is what it is. And they end up needing each other because you need an alchemist and you need a sharpshooter, and that is what she is. And I really, really loved the way that the way to take down this beast was handled. I really thought it was very, very unique in the way that it happens. So I won't tell you what that is, but I loved that aspect of it. I loved the characters. There was a lot of tension, both between these two, like in a romantic way, but then also between like enemies as well. So much tension in this book. It was insane. Like I could feel it. And this was not insta love, which I really appreciated. Like it took a while. It was definitely a little bit of a slow burn on that, which I thought was fantastic. So you really got to see the characters get to know each other and, see their feelings start to happen. But man, you guys, I loved every single word of this book. I was so invested in it. I was so enthralled with it. And I just really enjoyed it. I really, really did. I gave this 5 stars. Who knew? I did not go into this thinking it was going to be a 5-star prediction, but I absolutely, absolutely loved it. And I want to read more by her now. I think she has one other book out that I can see. So I have that on my wish list right now to hopefully pick up at some point. But yeah, definitely an author. Like if she has another one come out as well, I'm going to keep an eye out for it because I just 100% love this. Okay, so the next one that I finished is actually a reread for me. I reread a book. I don't do that often, but I did for this one because it's the start of a very, very long fantasy series that I want to get into. And so I was having a conversation with my friend Brittany over at Rescues and Reads, and we started talking about this, and she was like, you want to read it? And I was like, yeah, I do. So she read it for the first time. I reread it, but let me tell you, it was like reading it for the first time. I do not remember a thing about this book. I do not remember what happened in here. I remember reading it because I remember where we were when I read it, but I don't remember the book. So I read it in 2016 and we were at Disney World. I don't know why I did that. So obviously it didn't work out because I didn't remember it, but that is Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. So this is the first book in the first trilogy of her Realm of the Elderlings world. There are multiple trilogies and book series. I think there's 16 books total. And they're kind of broken up. So this is the beginning of the first trilogy, which is the Farseer trilogy. And I really loved it, guys. Now, did I love this as much as I did the first time around? I don't know because I don't remember. But when I first read this, I gave it 5 stars. And this time around, I gave it 4. And I'm not, like, I couldn't tell you why I gave it 5 stars before, but I did. And then this time around, I gave it 4 because this is very, very much a buildup of this world. We're getting to know our main character Fitz. We're getting to know the magic system. We're getting to know what's going on. We're getting to know the politics. That's a big thing in here. And just kind of where this whole story is starting. So that's very much what this book is. And that's kind of what it felt like. I thought the action in here when we had some was good, but there wasn't a whole lot of it. It was very much just a setup. But the characters are so great. So great. Fitz has a really, really cool ability that I loved to read about. And just kind of getting to know this world and how it works, I thought was really interesting. But it definitely dragged in a few places. And kind of towards the end, I was kind of like feeling a little bit done with it. So that's why I gave it 4. But the Farseer trilogy starts out with meeting our main character Fitz, and he is a bastard son of one of the princes of this kingdom. And he is literally, as a child, dropped off at the palace with his grandfather on his mom's side saying, "This is your problem. You deal with him." And so he's taken in at the palace, not by his father, but by one of the helpers at the castle. And he starts learning different things, and he gets to know the king a little bit, and he is kind of assigned to learn certain things, and just, it's all about Fitz just really trying to figure out what his purpose is and where he belongs, because he doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere. So, but I thought it was great. The writing was fantastic. Really, really good writing. And just, she can write a scene. She can really paint a scene for you really beautifully. So I definitely loved that. And Brittany and I are definitely going to continue. We're planning to kind of start out buddy reading it and see how we go. We're just going to kind of feel it out. We're not making an official plan or anything, but I think we're going to pick up the next one in January is our loose plan right now. So definitely we'll continue with this, but I did give it 4 stars. Okay, and then the last one that I read is one that I read because it was featured at our store at Barnes & Noble, and it was in the kids section, and that is The Forgotten Five, and this is the first book, Map of Flames by Lisa McMahon. This is the same author who wrote the Unwanteds series, which is a very popular middle grade series, and this is another middle grade that she has started. Book 2 just came out, so this one was featured during the month that Book 2 came out just to kind of help promote it. And so I decided to go ahead and read it because I was sent this from the publisher and along with Book 2, which was very kind. So I thought I would give this one a shot. And I listened to this on audio, and it is narrated by Jeremy Carlisle Parker. And I thought she did a great job. So this was really fun. This was really fun. This follows a group of 5 children who are the children of supernatural criminals who were basically banished from this big city. And this is a completely made up world. And so they basically are forced to make their own way on like a deserted island. And they are living there. They have children. They're raising their children there. And one day when the book kind of opens up, we are learning that most of these parents have vanished some way, somehow. They either leave to go get supplies or do things, and then they never return and are never heard from again. So the kids do not know what happened to them. Some of them, the kids, have a strong feeling they just decided to leave, that the parents just decided to leave and leave them behind. So they are left with one guardian, and he dies. So now these kids are completely on their own on this island. They are confident that they can still survive because they have learned all these skills because they grew up this way. But there is a secret message left behind from the last parent that dies, which sends them on a quest to try to figure out where a certain thing is that could possibly change their lives forever and open up some secrets about their parents that they never knew. This requires them to go into the city where they've never been. They don't know how to get there. They don't know anything. They lived on this desert island their entire lives. So seeing them in a city and discovering new things and learning how the world works, it kind of reminds me of like the movie Elf, when Buddy the Elf goes into New York City and he doesn't know what anything is. He doesn't know how things work. He's spraying perfume in his mouth because he thinks it's like breath spray. Like all that kind of stuff was very similar in here. They're learning technology. They're seeing cars. They're seeing all these things. They're like, what is all this stuff? I don't know what any of this means. I don't know how a restaurant works. And like, it was just really, really humorous things that we as humans just do without even thinking. And we don't think about anybody coming into our, city or town and not knowing how something works. It's really interesting, but definitely comedic moments for kids in here. I think that they would really enjoy that. But so we're following along on their adventures. They're making allies. They're figuring things out and how society is reacting to supernatural people because they all have supernatural abilities as well. That some of them are having to really try to hide because they're very obvious. Some of them are not so obvious, and they can kind of blend in a little bit, but not everybody can. So that was actually really interesting as well because society is definitely has a certain way of thinking about supernatural people. But it was a lot of fun. I really liked it. I'm definitely going to read Book 2. So if you like middle grade, I think this could be one that you could enjoy as well. And I gave it 4 stars. All right, guys, that's it. So short, but I really did enjoy everything that I read. So there's that. At least they were all really good books, but only 4. And I'm hoping December will be a little bit better. However, we are in the midst of holiday season right now. And so I am working quite a bit, which I'm not complaining. I like it. But, it definitely just takes a toll on my reading time, which is fine. So I'm just doing what I can and making sure that I enjoy what I'm reading for sure. So let me know how your November went. How was it? And let me know what you think about the books that I read. And I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day.